Generations. Know them, love them, they exist. Or do they? So I was on Twitter the other day. First mistake, I know, but I have like this policy on Twitter where I kind of like if there's something I don't want on my timeline, I will block and mute however many words it takes for it to be gone. And it got to a point where I was getting like really weird stuff on my timeline, like bagel discourse is apparently a thing. It people are very passionate about their bagels. But what I also saw on my timeline was more like generation stuff again. I don't like I remember like a few years back there was the whole millennial versus Gen Z thing that was going on that was really stupid and everybody hated. Um and and but like it's still happening, like people still care about this, and so it got me like reading again about like the generations and terminology and stuff, and I kind of like came to a realization, and like generations don't exist, like it's just astrology for marketing firms and stuff, like it really is. Like I was reading up on stuff, and it's like really vague and weird. Like none of the dates make any sense. It's like 15-year periods for whatever reason, and like when you actually like so like when I first started like researching it, what I was getting like at first was like like culture stuff. It was like, oh, if you watch these movies, you're definitely a millennial. You're definitely Gen Z, or a zillennial is a thing, I guess. But like that's just pop culture. Like anybody, like I grew up watching 80s cartoons cuz like that's what my parents watched. So like they showed it to me too, but like that doesn't make me a Gen Xer. People are constantly like talking about like the pop culture stuff, like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, we had this and this." It's like, "Dude, we had Jetix." Like they played everything on that channel. Like you can't pull pop culture stuff out because like it's not like it stopped existing. It's not like once the year 1997 rolled around, all the millennials had to be like, "Oh, now I can't watch TV anymore. I was born in 1996, and now I can't watch TV anymore. This really sucks. I can't watch. I can't watch Green Hornet." Those articles, like it's just like culture stuff. It's like culture points. Like, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? I saw a thing where like a guy was like, yeah, I don't remember 9/11, but I remember the 2006 FIFA World Cup. Like, good job. Welcome to the FIFA generation. And when you dig even deeper, like you start to get into like the Pew Research and what was it, the BBVA or whatever that like do market research and stuff. And like they never mention any of that. They're like, oh, here's the traits of a millennial. Here's the traits of a zoomer. Here's these things. And it's like vague stuff. Like, oh yeah, they're team oriented and competitive and tech savvy and you know, other buzzwords. It's all made up. Like it really genuinely is. Like the only generation that's like real are boomers. Like to the point that like the Census Bureau only recognizes the United States Census Bureau only recognizes boomers because it was the only time where that like made sense to do. It just like I think what happened is like boomers happened, marketing professionals were like, "Oh my gosh, here's like a group of people that we can like just market to." And then they wanted to like do it for everybody else, so they tried to like copy the format, but it just didn't work because obviously it's not going to work. And I mean, I guess I have like a bit of like an odd perspective on this cuz like I was born on like the earlier half of my generation, so my supposed generation, and there wasn't even a word for it just yet. Like, I remember being a kid and in like elementary school, people were calling us millennials. But then, like, in middle school, it changed to Centennial and then iGen and then Gen Z and then Zoomer for some reason. Oh yeah, dude, you're not a millennial. You're a Umer. Who's coming up with these words? Like, that's how confusing it was. Like, nothing made sense. Nothing at all. And like watching people like try to figure it out. And people are like, oh, well, I think that Gen Z is 2000 to 2010. And then some people are like, oh, Gen Z is clearly 1996 to freaking 2005 or 2000 to 2005. Dude, like, if there's no way you can like clearly define it, it doesn't, it's made up. Like it doesn't exist. Like, I wish people would just like forget about this. Cause like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter. Like, I hope after this, like, people just like give up, please. Cause like, why? Why? Like, why? I'm like really reading into like the market stuff. Like, it's it's so ridiculous because it's stuff that's like, yeah, like it's very general stuff. You know, like I was reading one about like Gen Z, and it was like, yeah, Gen Z really cares about the environment. And it's like, yeah, I think everyone does. You know, it wasn't like everybody was just kind of littering and using hairspray until Gen Z rolled around, and everybody was like, oh, actually, you know what? These toddlers really care about the environment, so now we're gonna stop using hairspray and stuff. I don't know, dude. I don't. I. It's just ridiculous. I just wish people would like give up on this stuff. I don't even want to be referred to by any generational term. I think it's so stupid and so ridiculous. Why does any of this why do people care so much? Why do people Oh, marketing. Marketing. Hooray for marketing. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm gonna go make a bagel.